Good evening and welcome for episode 2 of the Unhinged Dads podcast. I'm your host, Brian De Almeida. With me is my co-host, Dave Pasco, and our friend, Thomas the Tank. Yes, he identifies as an M1A1 Abrams main battle tank, although he only wishes he had a 120 millimeter main gun. This is our good friend Tom Knighton, staff writer at Bearing Arms and doing a whole bunch of other stuff. How are you today, Tom?
Well, I'm usually unconscious for about 2 hours by now, so
great. What you get for being on the East Coast.
No, that's what I get for having friends not on the East Coast.
Fair.
It's true. It's the pie chart. Where my friends live. That narrow, about 2 degree slice is local, and everything else is in Narnia or some shit.
All my friends are in fucking Narnia.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, Tom, have we ever actually been in the same place physically at the same time? I don't know that we've ever actually interacted face to face. We've been good friends for like 12 years.
Yeah, but I don't think because the one con where our general crowd was at Liberty Con that one year, and you guys weren't there.
No.
Right.
I made it 1 year and then, couldn't leave kids behind.
Yep.
So not with that attitude.
Yeah, you missed it, Tom. We talked about that last week, where really there are points where you just can't leave those kids alone. I cannot. I have offered to let Robbie drive somewhere, but at 16 months, he just can't reach the damn pedals.
I've been doing that with my daughter for 13 years now.
Yeah.
She's 13.
Yeah.
So
and there are other reasons why she shouldn't be driving.
Yes, she who is raised by war is 13.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
She's about to bring the war to everybody, starting with you.
My daughter turns 10 on Monday.
Oh dear Lord.
My youngest is 10.
Yeah, I know. Your youngest is 10 and taller than all of mine.
Taller than you.
It's fair. That's fair.
Well, no, not yet.
I'm pretty sure the bottle I have next to me is taller than Dave.
5, 6.5. First thing in the morning. That half inch is really important.
Yeah, when you're done. Okay.
Sorry, can't. I cannot resist.
Too many jokes, too little time.
That's fair.
I can riff on that one too, but let's not for the moment.
Right. We have more important things to talk about.
Sort of. So let's start out with our questions 3. Gentlemen.
Oh, goodness, yes.
What have you done this week to make yourself a better person or to improve yourself in some way?
I have been continuing the calisthenics program with my children, my oldest 2, and I don't think we've missed a day. No, we took an unintentional rest day at one point just because we were so damn busy. But we have hit 6 days out of the last 7.
Good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been, actually started trying to organize the chaos that surrounds me physically by cleaning up my shit.
That's a constant battle. You should see what my desk normally looks like.
Christmas exploded in the office.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just been like, ADHD, I can just ignore all this stuff for a while. And I'm like,
yeah, until it's falling over into your lap and getting in the way.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I started dealing with that this week. So that's a good thing for me.
For me, this week, I worked on sleep hygiene, on actually putting myself to bed when I needed to go to bed instead of staying up, because I can do things uninterrupted when nobody else is awake, which isn't much and is a constant battle, but it's something. So second question, what is something that you fucked up this week?
Speaking of sleep hygiene. Yeah.
I fucked up. I agreed to do a podcast 2 hours after I normally am asleep.
There you go. Yeah. Whereas I just don't go to bed at reasonable hours.
Okay, so I don't know that I really screwed up here, but it turned out to be a mistake. Early last year, I had major surgery. I had to stop doing stuff for months because I wasn't physically allowed to do anything after abdominal wall reconstruction. I was fairly active on a couple of subreddits like Ask Dad, Dad Advice, Men Over 30. And it turns out that if you post on those subreddits and exude what was termed big daddy energy, you will end up with crazy chicks on Reddit sending you nudes at random.
Okay, let me. What Reddits are these again? Just so I can stay away from them.
No.
Just for the record. No.
Well, this is why I had this idea at one point to start an OnlyFans, and it wouldn't be. It would be all like, me washing the dishes and me doing lawn work, mowing the lawn. That's it. Just fully clothed.
I would
possibly not even washing my face.
Put more clothes on.
There you go. But this is one of those things where I thought about this, and it's like I could probably make an obscene amount of money doing that. But the issue is, I do not want to be emotional support for people that I don't know and take their money for that. That's a kind of prostitution I'm not
kind of sleazy.
Yeah,
right. If you're going to do that level of prostitution, at least
just
get
do the
politics.
Whole thing. Yeah, well, and at that point, pull a Burt Reynolds out of what was that, striptease, and the baby oil and the
Vaseline and
cowboy hat and boots and whatnot, and call it good.
But yeah, so crazy girls in their 20s. I'm like, for one thing, you're like 3 years older than my oldest kid. Gross. Also, there is nothing hot about being called daddy. Sorry, I know this is a thing. But for me, being called daddy is associated with like 3-year-olds who want to cuddle on the couch about 30 seconds before they projectile vomit over all of you.
I think it becomes it could be hot until you're a dad.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Once you actually hear a young voice call you daddy, it's all gone. Especially a girl child.
I have a very limited set of people who get to call me that.
Yes. I'm like, ew, you're nuts and kind of scary. And also, you're like 23 years old. And honestly, aside from, flashing me, I don't know that you could actually maintain my attention anyways. If I were in the dating pool, I don't think that most girls in their 20s could actually hold my attention because they're just too young and inexperienced at life.
Pretty sure it's not, when they're sending you nudes, it's not your attention they're trying to hold.
No. But either way, I was quite genuinely surprised at this because I had 3 of those this week. Needless to say, my entire Reddit post and comment history has been memory hold because I don't need that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Joe. Oh, that's a word. That's terrible. You've got young chicks sending you nudes, but really,
no, that
I don't want to deal with that.
That's only interesting in concept, and only when you're not married. With children of your own.
With my luck, I would open that right as my wife is walking behind me.
Yeah,
and there'd be no explanation
except shoulder.
Yeah, or worse, when your children happen to wander in.
Yes.
Well, at least with my oldest, he's 24, so I'm pretty sure he's,
he's already made his opinions about you.
He's fine.
He'd be fine. My daughter would be like, what? My autistic daughter.
Yes. Oh my God.
Would not wrap her head around this concept at all.
Yeah, so that turned out to have been a mistake. And I'm at one point I was considering, if we find ourselves starved for content, going over to Ask Dad and finding finding questions for us to give questionable advice to, I'm
Right.
inclined to stay the hell out of there now.
Yeah, just stick with. I mean, we keep doing this. Eventually, there will be people who do more than suggest we delete our content and off ourselves in interesting ways, and we can take
Oh, yeah.
questions from them.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that, Tom. Last week for our first episode, we had one guy watch us on Twitch for a little over an hour and then dropped a message that the auto moderator caught, so I didn't see it till after we were done. And it said, you guys should shut the fuck up and delete your channel and then go kill yourselves.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. And, in case I wasn't certain that we were on the internet, I now have had it confirmed.
Yeah, at least it was streaming to actual, real people, because that's the kind of deranged shit.
Yeah.
That, you get from certain chuckle fucks after watching an hour.
That's the really puzzler.
Over an hour, and I was just like, dude, you need to figure out some priorities in your life and do something, because hate watching, I don't think, is very healthy.
Yeah, I've never understood this concept. I don't watching shit.
I don't hate watch shows that I dislike, where they're produced and acted and people have spent real money on these things. I'm not gonna hate watch a podcast of people that I don't know.
Yeah. I think I hate watched about one season of The Office before I just stopped, because I was genuinely hoping something awful would happen to all the characters.
In fairness, that first season of The Office, that's the only way to watch it.
But
it gets better after that. But yeah, it's
I have friends who are obsessed with it, and I was just like, I do not get the appeal here. I think I got through 4 seasons. I went just like, screw this. And now I just, don't watch TV at all. But last question, what's something you did well this week?
Oh. From a technical standpoint or from a growth standpoint?
Anything that you can give yourself credit for.
I got my sourdough starter up and running again.
What's its name?
Wade. Wade Wilson is my sourdough starter. I've had Wade since roughly 2020. Yes.
Along with everybody else on the internet.
Along with everybody else, absolutely. But Wade has been accidentally baked. Wade has been forgotten in Portland and then hard frozen, and air mailed to Texas. Wade has been, at one point I was curious, and so I was feeding Wade with 150 degree water. And you should not be able to feed a colony of yeasts on water that hot and keep it alive.
No, you shouldn't.
But Wade did just fine.
So Wade is aptly named.
Wade is unkillable, as far as I can tell.
Hey, so am I.
Right?
God knows you've tried.
Yes. Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
So
Wade Tom, what's something? Oh, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Wade is now ready to make bread, and my children are very excited.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tom, what's something you did well this week?
Oh, I didn't break my desk banging my forehead against it.
Knowing where you write in the gun world and in the politics world, that's an impressive feat, honestly.
Especially this week.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm doing this show. Is my other show is current events and politics.
Yeah.
And I need something that is not.
Yeah. I
that's fair.
Literally every day I am at some point looking at Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and saying, I literally hate everybody.
Mm-hmm. I have no more faith in this world.
And I am, here's the thing of our friend group, I am the eternal optimist.
Yeah.
I am the optimistic one.
You are the least. You are just about the least cynical of us.
And I'm sitting here going, I fucking hate everyone and everything right now. Sweet meteor of death, bring it on. We deserve it. You know,
I had a yard sign for Sweet Meteor of Death for 2016.
I wrote him in. I wrote him in on my ballot in 2016.
That's fair.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, it's just not completely losing my shit.
That's valid.
I actually made the joke earlier today. I wish I had started off with sports blogging.
Wait, is the Super Bowl this weekend?
No, next week.
Next week. Okay,
Yes.
I don't know. The only
there's
the
usually
only,
like a week or so between the championships and Super Bowl.
Yeah,
See,
I haven't watched a football game in like 10 years, but all the displays are up all over the grocery store.
Yeah, fair. We usually go over to our pastor's house, but they're having some work done, and so it's at the church youth center. Because it's a social event, and I get to go eat other people's food other people have cooked, usually decent food that other people have cooked, and I can not pay any attention to sports ball if I don't feel like it. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, Ian's live stream is always more entertaining than the actual game anyways.
Yes, the annual Fandango Festival is eminently worth following.
Which is so much. I do think it's so much better than people who like mock it. Oh, you're into sports ball. Let people like things.
Yes, seriously.
It's other people. If don't watch it if you don't want to.
It's not my thing, but it's other people's thing.
Right. Exactly.
And I can sit down and watch football and understand what's going on and actually enjoy it. It's just not something I'm going to ever go seek out.
Yeah. I used to watch football religiously. You know, college football, watch high school football on Fridays.
Football far over the NFL.
Yes.
Watch college, on Saturday, NFL on Sunday. Or we'd go over to my dad's house. We'd watch the Falcons game.
Yeah.
And this was bonding time for us.
Right.
Because we had a rough relationship for a long time. And this was kind of part of the healing factor, was we could watch football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both liked the same team. We could watch football, enjoy the game, cry when it was over if they lost. And being Atlanta fans, we did a lot of crying.
Sure.
Yeah. But, I always get on, I don't care that much, care anything about basketball or hockey or, really any other sport. And I get a little annoyed when people are doing the whole, you're into sports ball. Yeah, okay.
That's okay. I read trashy sci-fi books every day.
Yeah.
Well, not really trashy, just kind of pulpy, basic space adventure, space kablooey shit. But
that's the good stuff.
Yep.
Well, some people think that's very lowbrow and, proves that I'm uneducated, etc.
Some people are in defeat. So what?
Exactly.
Right.
Some people have serious daddy issues, as I was reminded this week.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, like I used to golf. I golfed with my dad because golfing was his thing. We could do that together and not get in arguments and not be pissed off at each other at the end of it. But he died 15 or 16 years ago. I haven't played golf since.
Yeah.
It again, it's not something that I would really go seek out and do on my own, but my dad wanted to, so I did. And it was good. But let's see, something I did well this week. I did really well on my time management this week. It's one of those where, where all three of us, we are home and, some form of self-employed and running a household. It's really easy to fall into the rabbit hole of reading people's stupid takes on whatever or watching inane videos instead of doing things that need to be done.
Right.
Which, in my defense,
never
I get
ends.
paid to do that shit.
You do.
It's true. It's true.
There's a certain amount of that I have to do to not sound like a complete moron on my other podcast, but it's really easy to fall in the rabbit hole of, doom scrolling and not getting things done that need to be. And I did really well on that this week. So
Good.
It's something. But so our actual topic we came up with, now that we're 20 minutes into this, was what the hell is self-care? Because that phrase has come into the into the common lexicon over the last 10 years or so. Mm-hmm. And a lot of what I see presented to me as self-care is frankly bullshit. The worst of it comes out of TikTok, because TikTok is a cesspool. But if I were paying attention to my social media streams and trying to figure out what self-care is, apparently self-care would be imitating Pajama Boy. You remember that from 12 years ago, the millennial kid with, sitting there in his pajamas with his hot cocoa.
His little onesie.
Yes.
Yeah, hot cocoa.
Millennial kid. He was 26.
Well, that was
at my age, that's a kid.
And I get
at my age, that's a kid.
But he's at 26, you should be at least something resembling a responsible adult.
Yes, and self-care when you're an adult rarely looks like spending all day in your pajamas and hiding from the world.
Yeah, right? See, I'm from a generation where self-care sounded like something that make you go blind.
Well, in the religious environment I grew up in, they used lots of odd euphemisms, and yeah.
I mean, that's, the first time I heard the term, I literally thought they were talking about spanking it. And then it was like, oh, wait, this is giving yourself permission to be a narcissistic, lazy piece of shit. Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's shown. But what I found, the older I get, the more that my body doesn't function the way that it used to, the more that it hurts more every day. I actually have to do things to do maintenance on myself, or else I just end up exhausted and feeling like shit. And actual functional self-care looks suspiciously a lot like work rather than, vegging out in front of the TV in your pajamas all day.
Yeah. Well, what the human body obviously needs a certain amount of rest, but our bodies and our psyches were not evolved in such a way to embrace laziness as a way of life.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To this idea of making, goofing off of virtue versus a treat. I mean, there's nothing wrong with goofing off. I know I've done more than my fair share of it in my lifetime.
Oh, hell yeah. That's half of this podcast.
Right. But it's not, that's really what people are like. Well, self-care is unplugging and everything, but it's selfish, lazy narcissism is what they're actually doing. And what real self-care looks like is exercising, going for a walk. Mm-hmm. It can be as simple as going for a walk in the woods because the sounds of the animals and the streams and all these things are also meditative. Yeah. Look, a walk through the woods is nice. If you're dragging a body, you get a little bit of a workout too.
There's the whole digging a hole bit.
Yeah.
Hauling in those 50-pound bags of lime.
Right. And, when you're digging a hole, you can sing the whole thing. I am a Thor fan. I'm digging a hole. I find that makes the time just that much more fun. And then when you chunk the body in, you put it on, it's all good. It's just like that. The FBI is like, okay, we need to talk to Tom.
No, I just, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and a lot of the ground is damp.
Mm-hmm.
Digging's not that hard.
Well, no, you really just want to go chuck them into the ocean and let that deal with it.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
Just to be clear,
Yeah.
this is for entertainment purposes only. We are not advocating unaliving anybody or hiding any evidence of crimes.
That will
Or
admit to.
cutting them in the first place. We don't recommend that.
No.
Absolutely.
But no, in all seriousness, like, going for a walk in the woods because you find that a little more relaxing than your noisy neighborhood that's right next to a business district.
Mhm.
That's fine. I'm a hand tool woodworker. To me, that's a bit of self-care because it's exercise. I find it relaxing from a mental standpoint, and I get cool furniture for less money than paying someone else to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that I'm finally doing some of that commercially. And actually one of the things that really kicked my ass last year was, abdominal wall reconstruction, rehabilitation from that. I couldn't lift anything. I was not in my shop for a solid 7 or 8 months because I could not physically do the stuff, and I would have hurt myself if I did. And not engaging in that active creative process was not good for me. I finally came to realize that while in most of the traditional senses of creativity that we think about, I can't write fiction worth a damn, unlike Tom.
I do cover politics, so yeah.
Well, yeah. But I stink at writing stories and coming up with those. I'm terrible at all forms of art. But designing furniture and building it is an outlet that it took me decades to realize that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all work.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It is, right now my shop is like 32 degrees. During the summer it's 105. Mm-hmm. So I'm either freezing my butt off or I'm drowning in ball sweat.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that ultimately is necessary, not just for physical, but for mental health. And not having the creative outlet was honestly the roughest part of that whole thing, of just not being able to do anything.
Well, and I've also found that, like, when I'm working on something, it's because I'm very focused on what I'm doing here and now. Like, I'm hand cutting dados. Okay, I'm focused
Button
on
for
making
punishment.
I'm focused on making sure my saw is straight up and down. I'm getting staying where I need to. Then I come in with the chisel and waste away, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not going too deep. And I'm so focused on what I'm doing that for that time, I'm not worried about all the other bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I come in after a day in the shop, there's this weird sense of peace that is so bizarre to me because for so long I never had it.
Fair.
Yeah, and are you still making armor too?
Some, not like I was. I really am enjoying the wood more. Wood's a little easier to work with in a lot of ways. But yeah, I still do some armor stuff. And so if I get really frustrated, I just beat the shit out of some steel.
That makes sense.
Beat steel, not kids.
Right.
Beat steel, not neighbors. You
know what? Having performed a hostile takeover of our HOA with a friend of mine, I feel that.
Nice.
I bet you do.
Yeah, but I'm on the fucking HOA board now.
The worst part is, my father-in-law went through that. He made a couple of suggestions and did a couple of things right, and then they more or less dragooned him into doing it.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
Yeah, I'm now the project manager for redoing all of our common area landscaping.
To be clear,
Yay.
the helming the HOA is not considered to be good self-care.
No. It
Neither
is.
Neither is the homeschool co-op board.
Yeah.
I did that last year.
Ooh,
I was the only guy on it.
that's right. You're also homeschooling your daughter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I have really nothing else going on. I should just be, by all means, let's just pile more shit on me.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing.
Well, at least it's just one. I mean, I would be homeschooling 5.
Yeah, at a certain point, I'd make them homeschool each other.
Yeah.
I just, one is more than enough.
That's fair.
It's like every time I think about, I don't know that I can take this. Maybe we should go back to public school. I remember I still live in Georgia.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and our schools suck.
I live in Texas, and supposedly our schools don't suck, but I have not seen any evidence of this.
Well, the thing is, don't suck in the American sense is not necessarily a ringing endorsement.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, all of mine are in some form of public school. I've got 2 in a science and engineering charter school for high school. It still has it's actually co-located in the same building as our assigned high school.
So
okay.
So it very still little has meaningful difference.
There is some, but it still has all the problems of the public schools, and the zone for our school has been the nexus for refugee resettlement in Salt Lake. So we have some issues with the behavior of young men from values-wise incompatible societies and how they interact with our girls.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
I think that's sufficiently obfuscated. Well done.
And yet, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm not doing that fucking rant here. But
we'll save it for later.
Yeah, there have been issues, and none of my kids are attending that high school. The one who's in public high school attends a different one, the same one that her older sister graduated from. Because I don't need to fight with the principal every day.
Fair.
And overall, the other school has been a much better experience for both of them. But public school, there's always going to be issues of with compulsory attendance and everybody going there.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it depends on how you work with it as a parent. What are you helping your kids actually learn?
Yeah.
Are you involved enough to be aware when there are problems?
Yeah.
And probably the most useful thing for me, because all of my kids, like yours, are kind of scary smart, is it's giving them a pretty good course in how to interact with a world designed for the bottom quintile.
Yeah.
Because we know the world is not built for people with an IQ of 120 to 140.
Right.
Yeah.
It is built for the bottom quintile who are from, 85 to 100.
Yeah. And you got to learn how to interact with those people, because for some reason those people end up becoming your boss somehow.
Yes. Coming out of the corporate world, I can say that, far too often the executives were the people who were just barely smart enough to know when to say yes.
And usually with a fair bit of psychopathy
I've worked for some really good executives. I've worked for some really bad ones, and a lot of who were, kind of in the middle. But for them, learning how to operate in systems that were explicitly designed for people a lot dumber than they are is a long-term benefit, as long as we're in the position to mitigate some of the badness. Like filling in the gaps in the history curriculum.
Yeah, we did that a lot with my son. He went through public school his entire education, and it was pretty common for us to have conversations about what he learned, and me filling in the holes or straight out correcting.
Yeah,
as was off. Because I know when I was coming up, I went through public school until 8th grade.
Yeah, you're only a couple of years older than us.
A little bit more than a couple. Not a huge amount. But it's like a lot of the textbooks we had a lot of stuff that was actually already disproven when I was through school, but it wasn't in the text.
Yeah. We did a project last night. One of my daughters had to do a FDR style fireside chat.
Oh.
And so I provided my video camera, and I helped with all of the editing for it. And hey, Cedar says hello.
Cedar.
Hi, Cedar.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Oh, we've got 3 people watching on YouTube now. I haven't looked elsewhere.
Sweet.
Is Tully making snide comments again?
No, Tully's not making snide comments yet.
Oh, you have to do better, guys.
Yet.
He may not have enough whiskey in him yet.
Fair.
Which is funny for someone named Tully.
Yes. But so we did that, and she was suitably amazed at my rudimentary video editing skills, from my brief period of trying to do content on YouTube and realizing that I hate taking 30 hours of woodworking and trying to make it into a 30-minute video.
Oh yeah.
But we did that, and then we got to talk about FDR and the New Deal and the other sides of that.
And how it did not fix the Great Depression.
Yeah. Or like how, Roosevelt threatened to pack the Supreme Court to get them to strong arm them into allowing them to continue to burn crops while people were starving.
Yep.
And on and on and on.
Literally
again,
sent
try and stay out of
breakers
politics
to damage people for voting wrong.
Yeah. But so gaps in curriculum can be corrected if you're an involved parent.
Yep.
So I'm of the position that the downsides of public school, if you are willing to put in the work as a parent, can be mitigated.
Yes.
They can be.
Absolutely.
But it takes some understanding of social dynamics and some willingness to sit down and listen to your kids and talk to them and help them understand what's going on and why things work the way that they are. And in order to do that, you have to have enough of a trusting relationship with them for them to actually tell you about the things that bother them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which has been one of my goals. And because I can tell you, when I was a teenager, I didn't tell my parents shit.
Fair.
Because at that time, it felt like anything that I had to say, I got in trouble for, or I was somehow wrong. And so I stopped telling them what was going on as much as possible.
Well,
and
for me, I stopped telling my folks because when I hit my teenage years, my parents became absolute fucking morons.
Well,
and then as I got older, they got so much smarter.
It's weird how that happens.
It was weird. It's like, they took stupid juice through those years. I get into my 20s, and then, as I got older, they knew more. And it was like, wait, I thought I was the one in school, but y'all got smarter. How'd that happen?
It's life.
Weird.
It's true.
Oh, comment from Cedar says, I'm not sure that's true any longer, though. Maybe in some of the smaller schools with more local control, which is valid. I mean, there is some of the things that have become very pervasive that are hard to counter. We're not going to get into the whole culture war thing there, but that again has been, I can of course only speak to my experience of having built the relationship with my kids for them to actually be willing to talk to me about this stuff and to disagree with me even. And be able to have a discussion and even sometimes say, you know what, we've got different opinions and different views on this, but we can actually think through it logically, and we can talk without me turning and yelling at them because they're being bad.
Yeah.
If I were in California or New York, I may be singing a very different tune.
That's fair. And when my son went through school, some of the stuff wasn't as pervasive.
Yeah.
With my daughter, I didn't see a lot of signs of that when she was in public school, but I haven't seen a damn thing since we took her out of public school that makes me feel bad about the decision we made.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just, the risk is there too much that she wouldn't realize this was something to talk about.
Yeah, that certainly requires a bit of a proactive approach.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where the trust comes in. Do they trust you enough to tell you what's actually going on?
But it's not even necessarily about the trust thing, because they can trust you enough. They may not realize something even warrants being mentioned.
Yeah.
You're asking what they learned today, and they talk about history and math, and they leave out the comments, the offhand comments that are being made by the teacher that are being, kind of seem very subtle at the time, but have a cumulative effect over the course of a school year and a school career.
Yeah.
So that's something else you got to watch out for.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see.
Well, and our kids were never in public school. Yeah. Absolutely, Cedar.
Yeah. Fish don't see the water, so to speak.
Exactly.
I have to read them out because we also have audio downloads.
That's true. We do. Yeah. We do. People can actually listen to us without seeing our mugs.
That's probably wise on their part.
I mean, I've always said I have a face made for radio.
I have a voice for silent film, though, so I'm screwed across the board.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. There's a reason I'm a writer.
Yeah. I don't have to be face to face with people. They don't have to hear me.
They don't have to hear me. They don't have to look at me. And, I apparently have enough snark that people like what I write.
Yeah.
Good. Well, and frankly, Tom, you've put in the time and the effort to build the audience.
All the way back to when you made the brilliant decision to purchase a local newspaper.
Yeah. That happened.
What year was that?
Oh, God.
Wasn't that in the late 20th century?
No. It was 21st.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just barely.
Give me a second here. Let's see. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, it's kind of gotten filtered out a lot over the years. 2011. 2011, I did that.
I thought it was earlier than that. You should have known better, man.
It was a local weekly. that
Yeah.
seem to have been doing okay.
Perceptions can differ from reality.
Yeah. It doesn't help that I have enough autism where I don't know how to keep my mouth shut.
I thought that was supposed to be like a good thing in a newspaper, man.
Except when you piss off the biggest advertiser in town.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of important.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny because I took issue with the local hospital a lot because they did a lot of really shady shit.
Mhm.
How shady were they? ProPublica did a piece on them about a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my wife's grandparents live about an hour and a half away from you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that they go all the way to Gainesville to the VA for all of their health care.
Yeah.
Because South Georgia, the landscape's pretty barren in that respect.
The one hospital you have that has branches all over this area is the same hospital that has been doing some shady shit for decades.
Sadly, all too often the case throughout rural areas.
Yeah,
this one's particularly egregious though. I mean, it's really bad.
Well,
and
it
it was before COVID, and then COVID exposed a lot of shit there too.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Like the first COVID patient we had that came into the hospital, they didn't tell anybody that they'd been exposed to COVID until weeks later. And that's how Albany, Georgia became one of the highest per capita COVID infection and fatality rates in the entire country. And up there in the world, we were up there with like New York City, Milan, Italy, and Wuhan, China.
Wow.
Per capita. We're, obviously smaller population, but on a per capita basis, we were up there. And, the hospital presented themselves as, we're the heroes. We're doing all this. No, they were apparently knee deep. If I remember the details of the article correctly, just for the record, but they were a big part of probably why it spread so far so fast.
Yeah.
And
general health in this area is shit anyways, which led to the fatalities.
Well, I've spent time in the South. I know how you people eat.
Good.
Your smoked pork meats and your obscenely sugary things.
You are bordering on heresy here, Dave.
Let's not forget the fried stuff. Okay,
and the fried stuff. Hush puppies are no joke, man. Look,
it's the only way okra becomes edible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true.
Otherwise, it's like
it's slimy
boogers.
Yeah, it's gross. But you fry it, I'll eat that shit like popcorn.
Mucilaginous is the technical term, and even that just doesn't sound good.
No, that doesn't help at all.
No.
Mucilaginous. That, if anything, that's worse.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up.
Hey, we all know Cedar is a woman of impeccable taste, and she says that she agrees on the okra.
Yep.
100%.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Cedar, I actually have a published recipe.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, eat this while you read that.
She did her Read This, Write That.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Read This, Eat That series. Yeah. She printed my chicken cordon bleu recipe that literally includes the phrase, beat the snot out of the chicken breast.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That's valid.
Yeah.
She says that she has okra in the freezer to use for the mucilage in making paper.
Yep.
Not for food.
Fair. Great binder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think altogether that's a much better use for okra. That or hog feed.
Unless you fried it.
The notion of eating things that have industrial purposes is always just a little disconcerting.
mildly.
Fair.
Speaking of weird vegetables, have you guys ever tried? It's a big thing in Southeast Asia. It usually gets translated into English as bitter gourd. It looks like a wrinkly zucchini.
It does. We have them actually in the local HEB. I don't know how to.
So many jokes from that.
Oh, believe me.
So many jokes.
It's a huge thing in Southeast Asia. It is the most disgusting vegetable I have ever eaten.
It just didn't sound appetizing to begin with.
No, it tastes vaguely like when you've been throwing up all day and you're now just puking up bile. That's the closest thing I can come up with. It tastes like bile as in vegetable form.
Because that's what everyone's really looking for in life.
Filipinos love that shit. So do the Vietnamese.
On, YouTube. Let me see if I can find him. Ian Kyo is his handle. Ian Fujimoto lives in Austin and does cooking videos. As a lot of fun stuff. Great patter, solid presentation. He got one, and he tried to prepare it according to the recommendation, and it went poorly.
It always goes poorly with that.
It's like, I don't care what recipe you use. If you try to delicately prepare fecal matter, it's not going to become good no matter what you do to it.
Well, there's the publishing phrase of polishing a turd. Yeah.
Or in the South, they just call it chitlins.
Yeah. That's fair.
Hey, if you wash your tripe good enough, the menudo doesn't smell of manure.
No, but
menudo, that's a band. It's a Mexican boy band.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to actually go try and verify that, so we're not going to.
Oh no, they were like really big in the 80s.
They were really big in the 80s. I actually remember that.
That's actually, it is an actual Mexican boy band.
But I have been places where I have seen the large intestine of a pig prepared with the filling intact.
Oh no.
The filling.
No.
We call it Southern haggis.
Yeah.
I like haggis. I actually enjoy haggis. I've had haggis on a couple of occasions, and it's like a savory, chewier oatmeal, and it's really not that bad.
Yeah,
I've had
oatmeal,
bad experiences with various organ meats. I generally avoid them unless it's heart. Heart, I'll eat all day. But
haggis, yeah.
The rest, but the digestive system, no, I can't. I've had it prepared badly.
In defense of haggis, you don't typically eat the casing.
Well, it's not the casing; it's the liver and kidneys and bits.
Lungs.
I'm just grossed out.
Sheep lungs is actually one of the big reasons you can't make an authentic haggis in the States, because we don't get to buy that for human consumption.
I'm going to say my local Asian grocery store that I use, I can buy all the parts of a pig except for the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get pancreas and liver and heart and intestines.
Yeah.
And eating the intestines of anything with the filling, I think we're going to unequivocally state that is not self-care, y'all.
Right. Absolutely. That is.
Okay, I hope we didn't actually make Tom vomit.
But let's be honest, if we were like showing this, my self-care would be,
walking away,
doing a good impression of a bulimic.
That's fair. You better sterilize the whole thing. That's what you've got that for.
Nuke it for Morbid. It's the only way to be sure.
Absolutely. Just don't write that on Facebook because you'll catch a ban for
yes.
trying to harm somebody.
Yes.
Because apparently I have nuclear devices. Who knew?
You're that much of a hardcore libertarian, huh?
Damn right.
I mean, I think we should be able to build them or purchase them. Anyway,
Yeah, if you've got the money.
But see, the whole point is I want my own reactor.
That's fair.
Yes, I you know what? I don't care about the weapons grade fissionables, but I would love to have my own reactor. Beats the shit out of a generator.
Yes. Right. I don't worry about energy. In fact, I give it to my neighbors.
I would share
it's so much more efficient than solar.
Yes. What's that meme with the caloric content of a gram of uranium is something like 30 million or billion even.
If you eat it, I guarantee you one way or another, it's all the calories you will need for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's not going to take very long.
So 1 gram of uranium is the caloric equivalent of the average Reddit poster in situ.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
What about a Reddit mod?
That would be
grams?
That would be 2 to 3 grams of U-235, I think.
Oof.
Daily?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds about right.
Yeah, we're being mean to Reddit today, but that's okay. Reddit's crazy.
Look,
Reddit, I used to be 4chan was the scary dark place of the internet, and then Reddit happened, and it just
4chan is scary in a different way.
Yes.
I actually know some 4chaners. They're I mean,
we know one. He likes horses a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not going to talk about that anymore.
Also, not good. Well, okay, horse therapy is a thing, but usually that is a matter of riding them around with saddle, etc. This is just not getting any better.
Stop. No, it's not. You're not helping here.
You are not helping here. Let's go back. Let's go to Cedar's condiment.
Condiment.
Comment. Energy independence. My own reactor would be awesome, dude. Seriously, if you could have a pebble bed reactor in your basement, hot water as much as you want forever.
Just one for a community.
Look, what I really want for next time I have to deal with Atlanta traffic is a battleship gun on a tank powered by a pebble bed reactor. With a mini wop with a switchblade on the side.
That was a good book.
Thank you, John Ringo.
Yes, I love that.
Which
you know Sluggy Freelance?
It's one of the Legacy of the Aldonada books.
Yes, it was. I think books 3 and 4.
Yeah,
they have Bun.
The Shivas.
Dance with the Devil and Hell's Fair. I don't remember.
Oh my gosh,
the Shivas were like one of my all-time favorite weapon systems ever.
Like what?
The most ridiculous thing, and that might be the most ridiculous thing John Ringo has ever come up with.
Yes,
and that's a high bar.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was glorious in all the right ways.
Speaking of John Ringo, something I am going to repeatedly tell our viewers and listeners, there is one book that you need to read because there are some essays in it that will very much help you in understanding some problems in our modern world. And that is by John Ringo, The Last Centurion.
I knew it.
Yep.
That's one of my books I read at least once a year.
Yeah, that's a regular for mine.
I need to reread it. Last time I read it was in 2020. And it was terrifying.
Yes.
Good night, Cedar.
Yep. Cedar is up way past her bedtime. Fun listening to us, and we'll see you later. Yes. Good night, dear lady. And you can always catch the full thing on YouTube, BitChute, Kick, Twitch, and through all of your audio podcast sources. Shameless plug. And subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe. There it is.
Like, subscribe, follow your monitor.
Right.
We don't care.
Okay, so circling back towards self-care.
Yep.
Would you guys classify taking the time to read good books
Oh yeah,
self-care?
sure.
If they're actually good books, and okay, I'm of the opinion that good books are the ones you genuinely enjoy reading.
Yeah.
And the only quandary I have there is if you are reading until the wee hours, you should probably practice better self care in terms of sleep hygiene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
when the reading does not interfere with
Mhm.
other things that you need to do,
doing
absolutely.
the necessary things. Yeah. That was actually one of the points I wanted to hit on is that self-care is not being a self-indulgent twit.
Yep.
However, a healthy amount of indulgence or allowance to do things simply because you enjoy them, not because they are productive, is healthy.
Yeah. One of the things I love to do when I get up on Saturday morning is fix me a cup of coffee, pile up on the couch with a book. And I'll read. Because of my schedule, I am usually up hours before anyone else. Even if I sleep in, I'm still up hours before anyone else. I'll sit there with a cup of coffee, just the lamp on, everything else in the house is dark. If I'm really lucky, it's raining. So I have the rain hitting the metal roof.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this glorious moment of I have nothing I need to be working on, either around the house or anything else. And I'm just reading whatever book, fiction, nonfiction, doesn't matter. I'm just living again in that moment and pushing, everything else aside long enough to get my head clear enough that I can approach whatever comes next appropriately.
Yeah,
And then I
with
do
a
it again
level head.
Sunday morning. Right. It's the idea of hiding from the things, using self-care as a way to hide from your responsibilities, as a way to shirk what you need to do, is complete bullshit. But taking
Also
moments,
impossible when you have kids and are a responsible parent.
right? But taking those times that you've got to, where nobody is go all the time.
I've tried.
Yeah, it doesn't last long.
You can do it for a certain amount of time, and
I managed it for a couple of years straight.
Say it's like a muscle.
Now,
Yeah,
you can do that.
And how much time have you had in the hospital?
Shut up. Now, I would say, granted, at the time, I was hiding from the fact that I was in an incredibly unhealthy marriage in many ways, and if I worked enough, overnights painting, doing a full two-tone paint job on a 1,200 square foot apartment in 6 hours, because I found out, oh, those people are moving in tomorrow, not next week, like is on our fucking calendar. Thanks, property manager. That I could distract myself from how incredibly unhealthy that was for myself and for my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could pull 80-hour weeks consistently and sleep like 4 hours. And that's probably one of the reasons that Crohn's kicked my ass so hard then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can push yourself. The human body and the human mind are incredibly resilient in being able to do that for an impressive amount of time, but it can only be for a finite period, because sooner or later the body is just going to tell you to knock it the fuck off.
Yep.
Yeah. And it may take hitting your mid-30s or your early 40s before you start actually hearing those signals, even though you were getting them years before.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, it was nothing for me to work all day, party half the night, get a few hours of sleep, and roll back into work like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And it just, when I hit my 30s, it was suddenly like I tried to start doing that. And I'm like, now that I'm in my 50s, I'm sitting here going, yeah, I want to go to bed at 8.
I can't do that because I have teenagers in the house.
It's true. They're your kids are.
I have
your kids are pretty good.
My wife and my adult son to handle the teenager. Thankfully.
Yeah. Well, the way things work in our house, where I am not the primary or really contributory income earner in any way. I mean, I make some money out of the shop, but it's not enough to actually mean anything. Really, my woodworking business is a self-sustaining hobby. It pays enough for me to buy materials and tools for stuff for my family, and remove the tool expenses from the family budget. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, having done, with my experiences, I could turn it into a multi-million-dollar operation in 2 or 3 years. That would require me working 100-hour weeks and turning it into a full custom cabinet shop with employees, and I would not be able to give my kids the time that they need, which experience has shown me they really do need. So,
well, and then you lose that self-care aspect.
Yes, exactly.
Because once you turn it into a business, that it's no longer your creative outlet. It's
the monster that must be fed.
Right.
If you're doing it right, it in turn feeds you.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to achieve balance when you are the person keeping everything running.
Yep.
Which is why I tend to focus my efforts towards not only what the kids want, but in enabling my wife to be able to focus on work and not have a ton of stuff piling up for her after work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how a partnership works.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking out for the kids. I'm looking out for her. I'm specifically, trying to make sure that she doesn't have things that she's going to feel like she needs to do after she's come home from 10 hours of dealing with suicidal teenagers. However, if I do that to my expense, to where I'm wrung out and just completely done, that is equally distressing for her.
Yeah.
Because then she feels like, oh, I need to help pick up the slack here. Brian's exhausted and he's trying to do too much. And so, I mean, hell, I'm 43 years old. I'm still trying to figure out this balance between being productive and being helpful and feeling useful without killing myself in the process.
I have a secret to that, and that's just always feeling useless.
Oh, wait, that's a secret?
Well, I mean, it's just that I don't ever have to worry about feeling useful because I'm always going to feel useless no matter what I do. So,
Tom, that's not a secret. That's just our normal state of being.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah. Secret was in quotation marks.
But yeah, I mean, trying to balance that, need to feel like you're doing enough and you're not being a drag on everybody else, while also trying to balance out taking care of yourself, is the forever struggle.
Oh yeah.
And and unfortunately, taking care of yourself usually means not eating garbage, making sure you're getting your physical activity, that you're drinking something other than whiskey or beer.
Shut up.
Okay, now let's not get carried away here. All right.
I'd say I did not come here to be attacked, but that is explicitly part of our contract.
I mean,
fair.
Water. It's necessary. Yeah, I know. Fish fucking it.
They do worse than that.
All day.
Actually, that's one thing we forgot about Tom's history. Tom was at one time a Navy corpsman.
Yes.
So you get
Go Navy.
all the plus sides of the Navy and all the downsides of also being involved in the Marine Corps.
Yes. We're more selective about our crayons. Crayola only. Don't bring us this crazy art shit.
Oh,
highbrow.
Damn right.
Wow.
You're going top shelf. That's
fucking A.
Yeah, you really ought to try some of those beeswax ones out of Germany.
Oh yeah, those are really great. Just
those are for holidays and special events.
Right?
Yeah, just because they're a little harder to get.
The birthday balls.
Yeah, absolutely. But luckily, being a corpsman, we have 2 balls.
Right.
So Tom, for a care package, then I can send you Crayolas with a case of MRE cheese.
The Crayolas are fine.
You don't want the jalapeno cheese packets?
No, I'm not big on that. But with my IBS, the MRE chocolate can be handy from time to time.
Stop things up nicely.
I'm gonna say that's kind of my go-to care pack for anybody who was in the Marine Corps for any period, is a case of MRE cheese and a 128 pack of crayons. Sometimes they laugh and sometimes they stop talking to me.
Yeah.
Either way, you win.
And honestly, both are positives.
Right. If they get that butt hurt over it, then you're coming out ahead there.
Right?
Yeah. If you're that much of a humorless bastard, then we probably shouldn't. Well, we're not going to be friends long term, so it's okay. Yeah.
First of all, how did you get through a career in the Marine Corps?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
If you can't take a joke, why do you enlist?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a valid question.
Same thing with the Navy.
Yep.
Never again volunteer yourself. If you couldn't take a joke, you shouldn't have enlisted.
And say for a podcast episode with 3 straight guys on it, there's an awful lot of Navy vets here.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't have any bubbleheads on right now.
It's true.
200 men go down, 100 couples come up.
No, that's a blatant lie. 200 men go down, 48 couples come up, because there's the CO, there's the XO, and there's at least 2 nukes who never realized that socializing was a thing, much less romance.
Okay, that's fair. Especially about the nukes. Now, the CO and XO, I've seen too much fraternization to believe they're abstaining. The nukes, I have no problem.
Don't forget Cobb's 4th wife is waiting at the pier.
Yeah.
And generally his future 5th wife.
Yeah. Only on a bad day.
Who's the thick E2 Latina?
Oh, Lordy.
Well, actually, you know what? I think that's valid. If you went back 20 years to when Subic Bay was still open, she would be Filipina, though.
Yeah. I was actually impressed with the number of Filipino chiefs I ran into in the Navy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They run all Navy logistics, is my understanding.
There were a lot of corpsmen.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of corpsmen, a lot of logistics, a lot of quartermasters. And I don't know why that is, because
I maintained that about 80% of the Navy when I was in was either from the Philippines or New Jersey.
We had a surprising amount from inner cities, like Mobile and Birmingham and Chicago and Detroit. And then I thought about, would I enlist to get out of that? Yeah, I would.
Probably.
We had a guy who went through my company in boot and went to Corps school with me until he got rolled out, who was from Brooklyn. So I understand why he joined the Navy to get away.
I mean, hell, I was enlisting because it was like, well, among many reasons, was one of the only ways I could actually get away from my family and from their religion without like being outcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's an easy escape hatch for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, and not a bad one.
No.
Yeah.
It's really not. When somebody's like, I live in a terrible neighborhood, I there's no way out. I'm like, have you been convicted of a felony? No. There's a
There are
recruiter.
waivers for some felonies even now.
Yeah, and for some felonies even then. Yeah.
I don't
But
know
it's
about
like,
now because they've actually upped recruiting standards for the first
yeah,
time.
because they're not in the middle of trying to fill bodies like they were. But
Well,
they're still always there. You can, if you haven't gotten a felony, the recruiters are always
there's
going
a
to take
waiver
somebody.
for everything.
Yeah. You want out, there you go. They'll give you, if you, if you don't know what you want to do and you become a grunt, okay, you're still out. If you're like, I want a job, I want a trade, you can learn it.
Well, and
At
I am
worst,
colorblind, and yet that just means that they wouldn't let me play with bombs.
Yeah.
Instead, they taught you to speak Mandarin.
It's true.
Yeah. My dad was supposed to be. My dad was a CB. He was supposed to be an electrician, but turned out he was colorblind, so he became a utility man. Became a water purification specialist, and when he got out, he was in the 1960s, late 60s. A company in Australia offered him like 6-figure income for then.
Wow.
To move to Australia and handle water purification for him. And
where?
I'm not sure where, but
Alice
mostly
Springs?
because my dad was
Cooper Pedy?
an idiot and said no.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, there are, throughout the Caribbean, most of those islands I've learned deal entirely with desalination.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Aruba in November. We finally did a honeymoon after 5.5 years of marriage, which this actually applies to the self-care topic as well. Because when my wife and I got married, the whole arranged marriage by Nick, who didn't know he was arranging a marriage.
Hilarious.
That was just his mentor through resident. He was her mentor through through child psych fellowship, and she moved out of her house and was in the whole process of divorce and everything at the same time that I was. And he goes and introduces us, and then flew me out to Florida for over the week of Thanksgiving, ostensibly to help him with a bathroom remodel, but mostly to help her with one that had to be done in her house.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
In 6 days, we logged like 110 hours of work and never argued about a single thing.
That's usually the test.
Dude.
Okay, then.
I can't speak for anybody else, but trying to assemble some piece of shit from IKEA in my first marriage was tantamount to a declaration of war.
Yeah, that was
like there was no way of walking out of that situation not being pissed off.
And not necessarily at the piece from IKEA.
That is one of those claim to fames. My wife and I have successfully assembled IKEA furniture together several times.
See, we've got our own secret for putting stuff like that together. Jennifer orders it, and then I build it, and she does something else.
Somewhere preferably out of hearing range.
Well, it's like she doesn't know what to do. This is not her thing. There's a lot of things she's great at. This is one of those things she looks at and she's like, I have no fucking clue what to do. You handle it.
I will tell you,
it works.
I literally design and build furniture. My wife understands the IKEA instructions better than I do. I look at that and go, what the fuck? This is retarded. Why did they what is this?
because it was not.
And she's like,
designed
no, it makes perfect sense. And I'm like, no, this is retarded. Stop.
It was not designed to be put together easily or quickly or well. It was designed to pack into a small box
and ship cheaply.
Cheaply, yes.
Yes.
See, the problem, Brian, is that you learn how to build furniture with things like joinery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with dovetails and mortise and tenon and dados and rabbets and all of the stuff that everybody listening to us just zoned out at.
Right.
See, the
when you look at when you look at IKEA shit and you're looking at it going, this is literally the worst way to assemble a piece of furniture.
But it's the only way that it flat packs.
Right.
They put nails into particle board.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. The best joinery method they have is using dowels, which is essentially a floating tenon. It can be pretty durable, except they don't use any glue. Exactly. There's no glue. There's no clamping to secure it. They're just for alignment, and they don't do anything.
Yes.
The best joinery method available, they do it in the dumbest way from a longevity standpoint.
Yes.
Not that it would matter, because the particle board, you're only going to get 5 to 10 years out of it anyways, at best.
And that's if nobody ever sneezes at it or lets it get wet in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and when you've actually built furniture and you look at a piece of IKEA, it doesn't make any sense, because you know there's no way this is the right way to assemble something.
Yeah, because if I'm designing and building something, I'm building it to last for decades.
Yeah. My goal is if we have a nuclear war, is for the cockroaches to be using my furniture.
Yeah. Oh,
that's my goal.
Now I've got to go pull up my website in creation, because there is a kitschy quote that I threw on there that I can't remember. So now I have to go and look at it, because
I want my furniture to outlast Keith Richards.
Dude, that's a lofty aspiration. Oh, here it is.
Damn right.
This is on my website that I've not quite published yet, because my wife says that my photography sucks and she needs to redo all of it, which is valid.
She's probably right.
Because of the things that I'm good at, photography is not one of them, and she's excellent at it. But in a disposable world, building something to last generations is an act of rebellion.
Yes.
You sound like Christopher Schwartz there.
Ew. Yes, I do. Which gives me all kinds of mixed feelings, because on one hand, I really love a lot of what he's written. I have, the whole Anarchist series.
Same.
I have spent too much money with Lost Arts Press.
Same.
I have an entire shelf of their books here.
I just bought the Hayward collection, The Woodworker.
My father-in-law gave me all of those for Christmas and birthdays over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
My father-in-law kicks ass.
Yeah, clearly. I've got a lot of their stuff, and I'm going to be getting more of it. That sounds like it came out of the Anarchist tool chest.
It does.
Or the design book.
It may be a direct quote. I should check that.
Yeah, if not, the sentiment is definitely Schwartz-esque.
Right.
Yes. The intro to his books, where he goes into his philosophy on everything, I go, dude, shut up and just talk about building stuff, please.
I don't mind it that much, but
it's not even that I disagree. It's just he comes across as a little preachy.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that much. But I get where other people come across that way. I will say his American Peasant book, I think, is the most important hand tool woodworking book that I want to build 0 projects from.
Oh yeah.
He has an entire chapter on building furniture without a workbench. Like how to use a picnic table and your kitchen table to build furniture.
Okay. No, that's fair. My workbench has been a couple of collapsible Home Depot sawhorses and a chunk of plywood, and that's mostly what I've used. That and actually a 36-inch tall plyo box.
You're also in military temporary housing because your house got flooded out.
I am, and because it did.
Yeah. But it's funny that he wrote this book about how you don't need a workbench when he's written like 4.
Probably his best known book is the Anarchist
Workbench. He did the Anarchist Workbench, but he also did Workbenches, Design and Theory and Construction and Use.
Yes, which
he did the Ingenious Mechanics, which is low workbenches.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, if Chris Schwartz is not autistic, I will eat my fucking shirt.
Oh, he is so autistic. I think he's actually like 90% sure he is autistic. I just don't think he's been diagnosed.
Well, yeah, he's successful.
But I think he's starting to realize. Yeah, he's made some comments where he's pretty sure there's some neurodiversity there. Dude is so autistic about woodworking.
Who's the Canadian guy who builds complex machinery out of like plywood?
That would be Matthias Wandel.
Wandel. Yes.
Yes, the designer of the Panta router.
Absolutely.
Which I have one.
That's a neat thing.
That's super cool.
It's a super cool machine. There's a difference between doing the things that fulfill you and doing them exclusively to the point that it is probably not entirely healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Hyperfocus is a bitch.
Yes.
Speaking as the one officially neurotypical person in a household of 8, holy shit, are you right?
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably autistic. Rob is probably autistic.
There you go with the TikTok self-diagnosis, Tom.
No, it's just because when Audrey was diagnosed, we're going through the evaluation and all the shit that I kept telling Jennifer. No, it's fine. I did that when I was a kid too. Was the shit they said. Tom, this is why we know she's autistic.
Tom, you're officially the second of my friends who has done that.
There you go.
And that's only because 10 others haven't broached the subject with you, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, to be clear, I don't officially yet have a diagnosis of ADD, but all these psychiatrists I know just kind of smile
smile and nod.
Well,
yeah.
When I mentioned it to my longsword class, I was like, there's a good chance, I've got autism. They're like, oh yeah, we know. I'm like, well, I am teaching the martial art for autists.
HEMA.
That's fair. That's fair.
But then we got
not even technically HEMA. I mean, strictly speaking, yes, HEMA, but HEMA of the sort that we actually care about the real source material and actually fighting in armor. Yeah.
Well, and then you got Jennifer, who is a meningitis survivor, which causes some neurological aftermath, which I refer to as type 2 autism.
Now I'm wishing Nick were here because he could because as a actual board certified psychiatrist, he could weigh in on this and it would be interesting. But he's too busy and important to do a weekly podcast.
That's true.
That's okay.
He's literally saving kids' lives, so I give him a pass, and I'm gonna leave his ugly mug on all of our stuff.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you're into that sort of thing.
Well, we'll see him when he has time for us.
But yeah, yes. I came up with that type 2 autism thing, and I still tickle myself over that shit.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. But Jen's restricted fixated interest is all things theater, correct?
That's a big one, yeah. She hadn't done theater and music.
Okay. Yeah.
Which has a big overlap with the theater.
Yes.
Those are the biggest theater nerds, or the musical theater nerds.
Yes.
And I say this as somebody who was raised almost exclusively on musicals.
Well, I got really excited when we first started dating, and then I realized I misheard the word thespian. So close.
Can we loop that in? No, we're not looping that into self-care.
You get,
No.
That was that would not exactly have been self-care. Thinking about it when I'm alone might become self-care.
Well, and that goes back to what we thought self-care was when we were young. Yeah.
Yes. And it sounded like something I was told would make me go blind.
Fortunately, that's not true, because Tom can still see things.
Yes.
Let's not get carried away.
I mean, I need glasses.
I should wear glasses.
I also should wear glasses.
Yes, you should, Dave.
My infant son destroyed mine.
Okay, I was just about to say, speaking of self-care, that would include things like wearing your glasses so that you can see properly and read road signs.
I can read road signs just fine. The red ones,
I can't.
Stop.
I mean, honestly, the numbers on my speedometer start to get fuzzy if I were not wearing glasses.
They're not relevant anyways.
My correction is just enough that it's helpful to wear glasses. I don't expressly need to.
Yeah, no, between my nearsightedness and astigmatism in both eyes, I'd have problems.
And functionally, what this sounds like is, if you have limitations, acknowledging those and working within those is good self-care.
Yeah. And actually that's something I've learned recently. Okay, we have to give a little bit of backstory here. I had a liver transplant in 2004, and yes, I'm drinking beer. Shut the hell up. My liver is the functionality of my liver is very, very closely monitored. And the one time that those numbers went wonky, I had no problem stopping drinking. I actually don't drink very much. In fact, I practically don't when I'm not on a podcast anymore.
So a few times a week.
Twice. Which, although for a reasonable person, I don't always drink for that, because sometimes we're addressing serious stuff that I don't want any disinhibition on.
That's fair.
But, a couple of beers, occasionally some whiskey, and if my liver numbers ever go wonky, I have no problem with stopping. But in the meantime, you know what? I've already lived 21 years since then, and they expected me to live 2 or 3. So as long as my numbers are okay, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I am going to enjoy my life and things that I like without going to excess.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, again, self-care.
Yes.
Yeah. Stopping from excess.
Yes.
Is the self-care.
Self-care is not being an indulgent fuckwit and constantly, eating whatever you want, drinking whatever you want, doing everything that feels good. But in allowing yourself to take the time to step back and to stop, to occasionally do something because you enjoy it, is completely valid. It's when you get to the typical Instagram, TikTok level of indulging yourself constantly that it becomes maladaptive.
When you become retarded about it.
Yeah. It's a question of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally allowing yourself to stop and have a couple fingers of whiskey, can be self-care, because it's giving yourself a little bit of grace.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it constantly to hide from problems and hide from the things that make you anxious, that is where you've gone well beyond what is self-care and are now indulging in self-harm.
I've got a shelf full of pretty good bourbons and a couple Irish whiskeys. I don't drink them every day.
Oh, hell no.
I never drink them when I'm upset, depressed, angry,
Yes.
anything like that. I will not touch them if I am in anything except a decent mood.
Yeah, if you're in bad headspace.
Yeah. Because I know what happens in the
food.
past. I'm going to start drinking as a crutch.
Yep.
And I'm going to end up shit-faced.
Yeah, you're gonna try to numb it, and that is inherently the opposite of self-care.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is it starts off working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which just entices you to do it all over again. So don't. Mm-hmm. My uncle drank himself to death when he was younger than I am.
Yeah.
He was only 12 years older than me. And he died before his mother and his much older sister, my mom.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared of the alcohol.
Fair.
I keep it in check.
Yeah.
You got to be responsible.
It's a little bit of self-awareness, a little bit of introspection, a little bit of understanding that there is definitely too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
But going back to the backstory, with organ transplants, you deliberately suppress the immune system because otherwise your body says, hey, this is not me, and kills it, which then kills you. Right. Which means that I tend to pick up most every bug that I'm exposed to. For years, I had recurrent pneumonia. I was doing like almost a course of antibiotics every month if you average it out over the year. That destroyed my gut flora repeatedly. I ended up with several bouts of C. diff, which nobody wants. And that eventually turned into autoimmune reaction, that is Crohn's disease, of my immune system eating the lining of my intestines. I did many years of treatment for Crohn's disease. Eventually, in 2018, had to have my entire colon and rectum removed, which means I have, no butthole, which my almost 17-year-old daughter will introduce her friend. She walks in, hey, this is my dad, Brian. He has no butthole.
See, that's not accurate, because Brian, to us, you're all butthole.
Well, there's the opposite view that is my gamer tag. If you find somebody named Infinitaint, because if the taint is that little bit that goes from the back of your ball sack to your butthole, well, if you have no butthole, the taint just goes continuously until it reaches itself again. So you may find me on an online game somewhere as Infinitaint, which I think is funny as hell.
It's like a redneck Ouroboros.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's kind of a fucked up Mobius strip.
Yeah.
Minus the twists.
Both of those
it's
are
a little bit of both.
I love it.
But so anyways, what I had, so I have an ileostomy, which is where the end of my small intestine is pulled through my abdominal wall, and then I glue bags onto it to shit in. And when we initially did that, I had issues with hernias around it, which finally I went, I had one surgeon attempt 2 repairs on it. He implanted a bunch of hernia mesh and shit, and it just didn't do anything. I'd kind of given up on it. Finally went back and saw a surgeon last year. No. It's 2024. Holy shit. Time goes by too fast. And yes. I was like, look, I keep ending up with these hernias around this. It is painful. It causes issues constantly. And he was like, okay, let's get some imaging. He goes and gets a CT of my abdomen. And when we get it back, the follow-up, he's like, did you know that when they did your liver transplant, the incision severed the nerves going to half your abdominal muscles? I went, what? So he goes and he shows me, if you look at the CT of my abdomen, the rectus abdominis, that is your 6-pack muscles, your primary abdominal muscles, on the left side of my body, it's like an inch and a half thick. On the right side of my body, it's 2 millimeters thick. When they did my liver transplant 21 years ago, they severed the nerve that controls those muscles on the right side. So the right side of my abdominal muscles has been non-functional for 20 years. So they went and they installed the stoma on the right side because that's where they always do.
Mm-hmm.
But that muscle is completely non-functional, has not been exercised in over 20 years. So yeah, of course, it just kind of tore apart and let my intestines poke through and gave me all the problems, which is why we came to the abdominal wall reconstruction last year, where they went and they moved the stoma over to the left side where the muscle's functional, and then just lined the whole inside of it with synthetic mesh to like hold together the right side of my abdomen. So when half of your core, I guess half of your abdominal muscles, which is, makes up like a quarter of your core muscles that you use to support everything, are completely non-functional, that does impose some physical limitations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That I've had to learn, mostly through pain, and learn to work around, and learn that there are some things that just don't work well for me anymore. You know what?
Fair.
I am never going to be a pull-up champion. Marine recruiters would be very disappointed in me.
Wow.
Because there's a good portion of my core muscles that you use to stabilize everything that just don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, once we realized that, we did the surgery, reinforced all those muscles, or those non-functional muscles, whatever the hell you call those. I did a whole shit ton of physical therapy and have learned to work around it and to compensate for it, and I can do more than I could before. But there are some things that just don't work. Sit-ups are not really an option because half
you
of my
need all of them
don't work.
Yeah.
And it causes issues.
Without functional abs, there are a lot of things like getting off the floor if you're prone or really supine
Can be an issue.
Absolutely.
You know what else? I will never again approach my deadlift or squat maxes from my early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
There was a time I could do both of those over 400 pounds. There's no chance of that today.
No.
Frankly, everything else could be 3 times as strong.
And there's that little stabilizing bit, that little buckle, basically.
Yeah. That's
yeah, it kind of sucks, but I've learned to work around it. So, that's a very once it was shown to me, here's your CT. Oh, that muscle tissue basically doesn't exist functionally. That's a pretty easily understandable physical limitation that you understand that, okay, no matter how much I push myself, I am not going to be able to do some of these things. How do we work around it and remain functional?
Well, and that's the question. What is the important part? Is it washboard abs that you'll never have, or is it being functional?
I don't know. Do you want to ask the crazy chicks in their 20s from Reddit?
No.
We don't.
I am frankly glad that I am not having to deal with any of them.
Yeah, I thank God that my readers are sane compared to that. And I'm saying that with the guy who had the stalker like dropping the square footage of my house to tell me he knew exactly where I lived.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, Tom, sane or
was that
just
from Bearing
differently
Arms?
Crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a dude made a really misogynistic comment, and I was writing about one issue with the gun industry with misogyny. A lot of women who work in the industry run into it.
Oh my God.
In fact, I talked to Kat as
Yep.
one of the people I talked to, and one of the guys whose fucking public tweet I put on there.
Was it Bob Vogel?
No.
Okay, I have to tell you about Bob Vogel, but continue.
But this dude first calls my house number because he has an issue with what I wrote.
Oh,
now,
geez.
There's nothing wrong with reaching out because you have issue with what I write. You should do it through my employer.
Yeah. Talk to Ben.
You do not
email link.
Yeah. We have a contact form where you can reach out and that shit gets sent to me. He called my house wanting to discuss this. And, I was like, at the time, I didn't see, I was looking, trying to figure out which one it was. And there were like 2 tweets. The first one wasn't that bad. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll, all right. Yeah, maybe I misread this. And then I go back into the story and I realize, no, the one I had an issue with was something else. A picture of a suppressed his suppressed rifle, and it's just the tip. When he's having an argument with a female training instructor. Yeah. I was like, yeah, he said that I misread this, but no, I didn't,
Pretty sure.
But the fact that he had my house number, which is not something I publicize.
Yeah.
He had to do some digging to find that. Then he comes on my Substack and presents the square footage of my house and starts talking about my stepmother and her daughters. And then, like, on Twitter, when I talked about I was talking to the cops, he was like, oh God, what has he done? Yeah, of course I'm going to call the cops, you fucking psycho.
Yeah.
You've already made it very clear you know where I live. Why would you pass along that information unless it was to imply a threat?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, granted, showing up at my house with murderous intent is probably not the smartest thing you can do when you know for a fact I am a gun writer.
Yeah. That is true. Oh, shit. We just lost Dave.
Well, after that comment, that he deserved it. I am actually in the city, for the record.
For definitions of city,
I have had gang gunfights that I watched out my front door.
Okay.
I actually, right before the NRA annual meeting past year, I woke up to go take a piss, and all of a sudden I hear gunshots. I come out on the front porch, and there's a motherfucker, literally standing the street over. I can see clear as day to him, going, "You want that? You want that, motherfucker? Come on, I'll give you some more of that." And I'm like, all right, bitch. Raise the gun again. He had enough sense not to.
Dave says his computer just turned itself off.
Well, that happens.
It does when you're not paying attention to your battery. Speaking of self-care, Dave.
Way to go, Dave.
Good job. We're very proud of you.
You know what? He did a great job of illustrating the point.
Yes. Okay, so on the other side, did you know who Bob Vogel is, right?
I know the name.
Sponsored competitive shooter. He is the top ranked USPSA cop because he's a reserve law enforcement officer in, I want to say, Tennessee, wherever the hell he lives. He's remained as a reserve cop for a long time, so he can claim the top law enforcement shooter worldwide or something, or at least nationwide. Guy's done some international titles, very well known. Basically spent his entire adult life as a sponsored shooter particularly in law enforcement, but in the gun community in general. He was arrested last year for inappropriate relations with a person who was under the age of 18.
Yeah, I remember that one now.
He went and I'm sure his lawyer wanted to murder him, went and posted on social media about it after he got out on bail, where he explained that this young lady he'd been talking to had assured him that she was 19, not 17. Mind you, Bob was born in 1982, a year before me. He was 43 years old.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a good look anyways.
I'm sitting here going, you are in your 40s, ostensibly an experienced law enforcement officer, and a public figure with some gravitas and pull. There is no world in which you engage in a relationship with an unknown 19-year-old girl that is not inherently of very unequal amounts of power.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know. And when you get into a public profile, at least this is the way I've been viewing things since I bought my newspaper back in 2011. I look at it as there are too many people out there who want to find you fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to expose it. You live your life like, you have to remember you are under a microscope.
Yep.
Okay. It's not some random dude had an inappropriate conversation with a 17-year-old. It's this well-known professional shooter
who specifically markets himself as law enforcement.
Right. Has been engaged in this behavior.
Yes.
It's you have to have enough self-awareness. We've been talking about self-care, but that also involves self-awareness.
Yes, understanding yourself and understanding your limitations and understanding
where you fit into the spotlight.
Yes.
Even if it's overestimating the amount of attention on you when it comes to not being retarded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm quite sure, there was times I knew that I figured if I got a DUI, it would become a front page story. In reality, maybe not. But you know what?
If you pissed off the right people.
Yeah, it made damn sure that I didn't put myself in that position.
Yeah, that's valid.
There's no harm comes from being extra cautious about stupid impulses.
Mm-hmm.
No harm comes of it. Hey, this girl says she's 19. She's definitely much young. She's definitely young enough to be my daughter.
Yes.
No matter how but she says she's 19, so I'm going to talk just like she actually is 19 because I've never as a cop I've never heard
person.
Yeah. As a cop, I've never heard the "she looked 18" line before.
Yeah.
It just I remember that. I remember that story. I didn't know enough about it to write about it. Someone else did.
Probably would have upset people. I'm sure whoever did upset some people.
Oh, probably, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't like it when we don't hold our own accountable.
Exactly. And there are a few people who have made some weird public accusations against me that were less than great, that I'm somewhat apprehensive about. Should this thing take off, I'm gonna have to deal with somebody who's going to try and dig up something from 15 years ago that they blew out of proportion then, and frankly didn't actually happen. But I said, you know what? One, I need to take the time, talk with my friends, and maybe we can build a little bit of community and actually do something positive for other people who are raising kids in this screwed up world. So Yeah, but there's an understanding if you're putting yourself in the public eye, you're going if you become well known, you are going to be subject to some scrutiny, and you need to understand that. You need to be okay with that, and you should hold yourself to a standard that you are okay defending in front of people, whatever that may be.
Yeah, and it's. I'm not gonna say I've never done anything that
Oh, hell no. You're human. It's impossible.
Right. Especially shit that I may have done well before I was even remotely,
Mature.
had the potential of being in the public sphere, being in the public eye. And I try to also, when I judge someone else, keep my own failings in mind so that I'm not too harsh.
Yeah.
But on the same token, if you're 43 and she says she's 19, you might want to take a step back. Just think about the shit Bill Belichick got when this was a verified adult. And he's catching hell for it because of the age gap. And it's like, I wouldn't want to go through that.
Yeah, which is why I deleted my entire posting and comment history on Reddit. Like, I do not need any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I've fortunate I've never had to deal with that.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that that's never going to be a concern. That
it's a crazy world.
Ever going to, do the digital equivalent of throwing the panties on stage. I don't see it as being likely because
I didn't see it as likely either.
But if it happens, it's I'll deal with it as best I can then.
Yeah,
I'm not going to look for it. I don't actually. 20 years ago, I might have looked at it different. If nothing else, it would make me feel, virile as I approached middle age. 30 years ago, I would have been fucking giddy. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were also unattached and didn't have a daughter.
Yeah. I was 22.
Exactly.
I would have been like, hell yeah, score.
I have big daddy energy.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what that means at all.
Oh, God. There's part of me that just went, what? What the hell does this even mean? What is wrong with you?
Big daddy energy. What? I remind you of Adam Sandler?
God, I hope not.
Look on your face.
Adam Sandler's funny.
Yeah, but still.
But no, that's not a comparison. I'm gonna consider especially flattering.
I know, but the look on your face made it worth bringing up.
Oh God,
that was self-care for me.
Okay. Oh, holy shit! We started streaming 119 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. So we're at 2 hours. I think we've addressed, even if it was somewhat tangentially, what self-care for a responsible adult looks like.
Yeah, we've hit it. And then a bunch of other shit.
Well, that's the format we're going for here. We're gonna go strange places sometimes, and hopefully it's entertaining for people.
Well,
and if not, like we enjoyed the ride.
It's like Paul told you, if I come on, you're gonna go off track.
Yes.
It's just how I roll.
And we live for that. Honestly, that's kind of what we're going for here. I'm trying to go for more entertainment than strictly serious content. But
that works for me because I don't do serious.
Life's too short otherwise.
Exactly.
But so to sum it up, as an ostensibly responsible adult trying to raise kids and show tiny humans how to not suck at everything, most self-care is not the bullshit that you're shown on TikTok.
That could be a part of it, but it should only be
in moderation. Yes, sometimes a
Yeah.
little bit of indulgent, allowing yourself to just sit back and enjoy something that is healthy. If your focus becomes simply whatever makes me feel good in the moment, you're going to go way off track.
That's self-destruction.
Yes.
It really is, because
most of real self-care for grown-ups looks like work. It looks like moderation. It looks like thinking long-term and not just what feels good today.
It can be getting up and taking a fucking shower on a day when you don't have to leave the house. You know, it's so many things that are basic and essential that you don't get the TikTok treatment for self-care.
Yeah, it's going to the grocery store and not raiding the donut case.
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
I am the son of a cop.
I love donuts. They are, I mean, in like, trying to limit the sugar and simple carb intake, donuts are probably my biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
But it's understanding that there is limits to indulgence.
Yeah.
And most of the time taking good care of yourself is work. It's exercising. It's not going to excess with the sugar or really the alcohol
or anything.
Really. Yeah, really. It's understanding moderation
in the right levels. Even exercising, if you become like some exercise fiend and
marathoners
to a certain degree, I mean, some of this shit's just not healthy.
Marathoners ain't right.
Well, let's keep in mind, this is a race where the first motherfucker to cover the distance died at the end.
Yes.
That's just not a ringing endorsement to me.
Yeah. And getting so locked in on the fitness and health side that you've removed all the food you enjoy.
Yeah.
That's also not self-care.
There are eating disorders of trying to eat clean, quote unquote clean, and that's just too much of your focus. So yeah, anything, even if it's normally healthy, to excess becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
And self-care is knowing where that line is. And yeah, you may cross it from time to time, but it's going, okay, like I did CrossFit for a while and it wrecked me where I couldn't do anything else. Well, I was exercising. That's good for you.
Yeah.
I was shot. Right. I was so shot physically, I couldn't do anything else. Well, that was too much. That was excess. I had to dial things back. Yeah. It's avoiding excess is, I think, really kind of the epitome of self-care in every aspect.
Yeah. So it's getting enough sleep, but also not sleeping into the point that you're missing your other responsibilities. Because when you're a dad, you've got kids, you can't just sleep till noon.
No.
They need to be fed.
For some reason, they think they should get food.
Well, even if they can feed themselves, they need to be shown a model for not just indulging in whatever is good at the moment, and not playing video games all day, every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't play video games. Means that you need to balance it with your responsibilities and with taking care of your body and with disconnecting from the screen.
Yeah.
It's moderation, it's work, and to use the favorite curse word of online millennials everywhere, it's adulting.
Yeah.
Understanding the concept of moderation and having some self-discipline. That's how you take care of yourself. Yes, you allow yourself to enjoy the things that you love, to allow yourself to relax, to step back from that I must be productive at all moments mindset that infects, I think, especially us as men.
Yeah. There's still a lot of societal pressure on us to produce.
Always.
Yeah.
Must be productive, must be useful.
You know,
Sarah Hoyt calls it being born owing money. It's how you feel.
Yeah. You know, for a long time, I screwed around and I didn't hit that until later in life, but God knows I've made up for it in the last few years.
Watching you. Yeah.
Yeah. Since 2011, I it turns out it just took me being in the right field to become a workaholic. And yeah, to a certain degree, I have to be able to say no, even on projects that I enjoy.
Yeah, because if it's taking away from your ability to meet your other responsibilities, if it's taking away from your ability to take care of your own physical and mental health, then it's definitionally unhealthy behavior.
Exactly.
You know, like so many things, it's a question of balance. Yep. And having both the capability for introspection and the discipline and self-control to enforce it on yourself without hurting yourself. One of my dogs wants to get into the office. I think I'm currently deadbolted in here from the outside.
That's somebody else's self-care.
Fortunately, my wife loves me.
You're lucky then.
You know what? I'm very lucky because trying to navigate that balance, especially when you're coming from a place where it's always been about what you can do and what you provide, and that's your only value.
Yeah.
Learning, trying to internalize the concept that you as a person have some value, like intrinsically, is utterly foreign to my brain.
Oh yeah, same with me. And my wife does nothing to create that. That's all me.
Yeah, my wife is actively in opposition of this. She's constantly informing me of all the ways in which I provide value to everybody else, and that if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm actually failing in taking care of them.
But I also remember your previous marriage.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, yeah, you haven't been able to block that from your mind like good trauma should be.
I can't block anything out of my mind. But
I wouldn't either. So
yeah. So guys, if you're still with us, it's balance. It's understanding that you have needs, you have responsibilities, and finding that point where you're addressing both without working to the detriment of either. It is the constant battle of fatherhood and attempting to be a good husband and trying to be a functional person in a world that will always tell you that no matter what you do, you're not good enough. And the fact of the matter is, for the vast majority of us, you are. And you deserve to allow yourself to relax, and you deserve to allow yourself to do things simply because you enjoy them, as long as you don't go to the point that it distracts you from your actual responsibilities.
And if you're doing that and somebody acts like you're not enough,
fuck them.
Get out.
Figuratively, not literally.
Yeah, you should definitely not literally, because you can get something terminal like a kid.
Yeah. That's not where I was going to go, because I love my kids, but
I love my kids too. But yeah,
there are days I don't always like all of them.
There's days I don't like any of mine, and I only have 2.
I have 6. Usually, at
course-
least one of them is likable on any given day.
Well, in fairness, I think my son is big enough to count for as, at least 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's 24 now.
Mhm.
Hell, you guys are allowed to be friends now.
Oh yeah, and we are.
That's awesome.
Legitimately, there's things we do as friends.
Yeah, and
Which is cool.
I think as a dad, one of your ultimate questions of did I do a good job is if your kid is still willingly engaging with you when they no longer have to.
When he comes in the office, he's like, "Dad, you got to check out this video." It's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's when he sends me funny shit, it's not earth-shattering stuff, but he's saying this is something I want to share with my dad.
Yes. And with one adult kid, when they're like, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
There's a part of me that goes, I really don't remember, even as an adult, being like, "Hey, Dad, check this out."
Yeah, I was like that more with my mom.
I'm not that way with my mom either. My mom was
really cool. My dad became cooler later.
Yeah,
on.
we still have, but there are still things to work out with my mom.
Yeah,
but my 18-year-old, she's like, "Hey, Dad, check this out," or just sitting and bullshitting with me.
Yeah,
it's everything in moderation. And at the end of the day, if your kids continue to have a relationship with you when they don't have to, then you probably did okay.
And especially when it goes beyond family obligation stuff.
Yes.
When it's genuine, I want to share this with you for no reason other than it brought me joy and I want to share that with you.
Yeah.
That's really a good sign.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Mike, if we can get through all of adolescence and high school and still be at a point where we will voluntarily engage with each other because we actually like and respect each other, then we've done pretty damn well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's the goal. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. It's moderation. Unfortunately, it's work. It's not being a self-indulgent shithead, unlike what TikTok tries to show you.
But yeah, and I could go on for another hour on this because
so could I. That's the problem.
The whole issue of, you care for your car by working. You care for your house by doing housework. You care for
totally valid.
Your yard by doing yard work. Why is self-care different than lawn care in that is work or house? It's work.
It is.
Now, it's not all work.
Unlike the fucking lawn.
Yeah.
Fortunately. But you can go too far and to the point where it turns maladaptive, which is what you can do with most things.
With anything, yeah.
So basically, guys, act like fucking grown-ups.
Don't be a wiener.
Yeah, don't be a wiener. Don't beat yourself up, and don't be a self-indulgent twit.
And don't make yourself go blind.
I think we've debunked that myth by now.
Still, don't do shit that makes you go blind. That includes drinking too much moonshine.
More of a problem in Georgia than it is in Utah.
Yeah, that's because our mountain folks are different than the folks that live in y'all's mountains.
There are banjos involved.
Yeah, and stills. Our mountains actually have trees.
Hey, our mountains have trees. And
they have trees all the way up to the top.
Ours are too tall for that.
Yeah, see, ours aren't. Ours are older than bones.
Well, yeah, that's why they're not really mountains anymore. I'll fight you. Appalachians aren't really mountains anymore. Besides,
Look,
our banjo playing weirdos have 7 wives.
Our banjo playing weirdos have 7 cousins, and that's kind of the same thing.
Kissing cousins is, yeah. No.
No, they don't stop at kissing.
Well, and that explains South Georgia for y'all.
No, that's North Georgia.
If you say so.
South Georgia, we don't have anything that resembles mountains.
Well, that's true. Y'all get the hurricanes instead.
But, I am married to a woman who's her own aunt, so.
We've been friends for like 15 years. It's the first time I've heard that. I'm very disappointed in you.
She was adopted by her grandparents. So her dad is legally her brother.
Okay.
So she's her own aunt.
Legally. Not biologically. That's different.
Well, what's funny is she's from a very rural county that's notorious for rednecks. And so when I tell people that around here and they're like, they look at me and go, well, she's from Baker County.
Go,
Without prompting, they all go, oh.
It makes sense.
She hates it so much that's the universal response.
I can see her being upset at that.
It's great. I love it.
Okay. Well, we're going to put this one to bed. We are well past Tom's bedtime.
Oh, God, yes. I was supposed to get up in 4 hours.
Sorry, man. I appreciate you coming out, because when Dave's computer died, I would have been stuck here monologuing, and ain't nobody sticking around for that. So everybody, please subscribe, help us build a little bit of community. Maybe, I don't know. We're gonna keep doing this, putting it out into the interwebs, and hopefully we'll reach some people who don't tell us to delete our channel and off ourselves eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
So, thank you all for joining us on the Unhinged Dads podcast. I am Brian De Almeida with my co-host Dave Pasco and our special guest Tom the Tank Knighton. Y'all have a good night.
Later.
All right, that is it for tonight's episode. Thank you for joining us. Quick reminder, all opinions expressed here are solely those of the individual speakers, hosts, and guests alike, and do not represent the views of any affiliated person, organization, company, sponsor, or other entity. This show is provided for entertainment purposes only. Nothing discussed is professional advice of any kind. Always consult a qualified professional and use your own best judgment before acting on anything we've talked about. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next episode.